What is going on, everybody? Welcome to our shelter. No, I'm not in Kefir Studios, but we are indeed watching the live stream earlier today from Kefir inside the actual studio development office, I guess you could probably call it. They showed this off on Facebook, and a bunch of you guys sent me a bunch of tweets letting me know, hey, Falcon, check out the live stream video. They showed off a bunch of cool stuff. So I figure I would take a look at it, but at the same time, we take a look at it together here. So I'll record the video, I'll do some commentary over, we could do a bit of an analysis video that a lot of channels do, I guess. We'll look over what they're showing off, and we'll share ideas. So I'll tell you what I think, and you guys tell me in the comments if you agree with it, disagree with it. That's a nice, delicious looking cup of coffee right there. As a matter of fact, it might be coffee, I'm not sure. I think I need some of that myself, though. It's really early. Well, it's not early, but it's kind of early for me anyway. So, first things first, let's go ahead over here and now speed this up to like maybe 0.50 speed. There's going to be no sound in the video as well because it's a live recording, so just keep that in mind. This will just be me and a bunch of office sounds, apparently. So, right off the bat here, we have a big, rotund zombie, big fatty dude. Now, I believe these two right here, and there's also a hidden one in the back. You see, I'm going to pause the video now. But you see this bad boy back over here? Thank God I got my mouse cursor here. I feel like a teacher right now, just giving you guys like some sort of course right now. Okay, kids, well, if you turn to page 45 and look overhead in the overhead projector, you will see what I'm talking about here. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm turning into a dad, faster than I really want to. So over here we have a rotund zombie. Now what's really cool about this guy is that I feel that he's nothing really special. I think he's going to be the winter zone floater bloater. I said floater bloater for once and not floater boater, which I always say floater boater. This will be the winter zone floater bloater in my estimate, my opinion. And I say that because there's nothing really too crazy about him. He looks very similar to the floater bloater other than the clothes, but because of the way he's dressed, you see he's got a coat on, he's got a little bit of fur over here and here, he's got some gloves on. This will totally be a Winter Zone zombie. This will be the Winter Zone variation of the Floater Bloater. And I like the fact that they're going to be adding small changes like that, like they actually have different clothes, because if you have the Floater Bloater from the regular areas, in the Winter Zone, it would be kind of weird because he's dressed like with a jersey or something like that. So it's kind of like, what are you doing here in the winter map dressed like you're out here for summer playing basketball, you fat dude? So I really like the idea that they're adding winter clothes to the zombies too, so it makes sense why people here in this little Arctic area are dressed for cold, because hey, even though they're zombies, they were humans at one point and they obviously turned to zombies, so they have winter clothes on, so it makes sense. It's really, really cool. Now the guy on the right over here, you're probably thinking, well, this is an old man zombie. I disagree. You're probably not even thinking that, but either way, this is the way I'm kind of introducing my theory. This bad boy over here is another definite estimate as to what's going to be happening with winter zombies. As you can see right now, that's all snow, baby. That's all frost. So we could probably make the assumption that his hair is, just completely filled up with snow because of the snowfall. I don't think he's really old. But over here we have snow. That's his hair just completely filled up with snow. He's missing a shoe. Frostbite took over, he turned into a Zambro. Bada bing, bada boom, there you go. So this will probably more than likely just be the regular zombie variety out in the snow, whether it's a fast biter or a roaming zombie. It'll just be the Winter Zone variation of that, in my opinion. Now, the cool thing is back over here, you see how they have hidden that guy back there? Kefir does things for certain reasons, and I believe this is only teasing us, and they're not to show it off. This bad boy right here is going to be probably kept secret until we actually play the game, and we run to smack dab in the middle of this dude over here. Who is this guy? I got no idea. But you know what, since we're going to a winter area, wouldn't it be kind of cool if he was kind of like a bit of a Yeti or something, a bit of a zombie or something, like I don't think they're going to have like a Yeti because they did say they want to keep it realistic. But at the same time, when you think about the game, what about it is really realistic, So the game is realistic, sure, but when it comes to monster designs, oh god, we have a human anatomy doll over here with his dong is hanging out. Get out of here, dongus! Get out of here. You don't belong here. The kids are watching your plastic dong. Get out of here. So that's what I think. Oh, good God almighty. Damn, baby, how you doing? Are you part of the update too? You should be. I'm sorry, okay? Falcon, focus on what we're watching here. I'm sorry. Okay. Why you gotta put her there, though? You're kind of distracting me now. Let's go ahead and put this down to like 0.25 speed. Now, this is a really intriguing little video that she's working on, watching, who knows. Now, this over here is the most important part. This is the tap to chat window that we see in our game, but we can never really use because it needs a radio tower and it's for multiplayer, yada, yada, yada. Now over here, it does seem like we're raiding a house. I'm not sure if this is a player base, I don't think it really is, but this right here is the NPC moving around, and he's attacking somebody right now, and so is everybody else over here. You know what this is to me, my opinion? This is Kefir in the studio working on multiplayer for themselves to, you know, eventually release to the public if they release it and stuff like that. This is like their teasing of the multiplayer. You know what this over here means to me? 1, 2, 3. They're part of the same crew as this character NPC right here. And I say that because they got green names. Green is normally seen as a passive color. If it was red or something, it'd probably be like an opposing faction. Oh, it went out. Okay, hold on. We gotta go back. We gotta go back because there's something I want to show off more about that. Go back. Well, I don't mind seeing you again. That's alright. Let me just speed it up here a little bit. There we go. Okay. Slow it down, slow it down. Now, you guys probably won't be able to see this because it's very blurry. I could barely make it out myself. But over here, I believe it says like plank oak. That's what I think anyway. It's at least if I squint my eyes and press my face up against the screen, it looks like it says plank oak. But anyway, this is honestly your faction. This is going to be a multiplayer that Kefir is probably testing in studio. Because you see the green names, right? And over here in the tap to chat window, that's green and that's white. So that's the person saying something, and that's basically them within the faction talking to each other. So they are indeed working on multiplayer, which is great to see. Over here, I believe this is going over to Bunker B Charlie, right? Or Bunker B Charlie, that would be pointless, Falcon. Bunker Bravo, that's what I believe they call it in the game. Now, we haven't been to Bunker Bravo in a while because, you know, we know if we go to Bunker Bravo, there's a bunch of zombies that you deal with it, but that's all you can do there. The really big focus has been on Bunker Alpha, correct? With all the bunker floors, the coupon runs, etc. So here they're showing Bunker Bravo again. I believe this is probably to tease the fact that they're going to start working on that too, adding floors to it, etc, etc. But what I found interesting about this is that this is a character walking in. Let me see if I can slow this down one more time. There's a cursor right there, and these are the zombies that normally rush you when you walk in. What's really intriguing is that I'm not sure if it's because of the angle of the video, but the zombies look like silhouettes, like black silhouettes. Is that a Batmobile over there? Oh, it totally is, man. Kefir, you guys are on it. You got the old school Batmobile. Oh, man. You guys know what I like. You guys know what I like. Anyway, I'm sorry, I get distracted. So, it's kind of weird that these zombies are like black silhouettes, I would say. So let's speed it back up over here. How you doing, buddy? What are you working on? We'll see what you're working on here. You're working on art. Okay, so this will be like concept art. Now over here you see like the snowy type of like area. I don't think this will be part necessarily of the zombie update for the, or not the zombie update, but the winter update. But it's probably showing us concept ideas of what they want to add there. What does this big pile of zombie tumors means? I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure, but wouldn't it be cool if this right here is what's inside of that crater on the map that we see all the time? Remember, that crater isn't part of a mountain area, and what do you normally associate mountains with? Snow, right? It'd be kind of cool, somewhere down the line. You know, this is my idea, and I'm not saying it's 100% fact, just my theory. Oh, it's a game theory. Damn, baby, you're back again? Okay, hi, I'll see you later. Yeah, we'll see you later. Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, sorry. Okay, I'm getting distracted, okay? She was just waving hi at us. Not really at us, at the person recording. But we'll pretend it's to us, okay? So here we're seeing another part of the studio walking around. What are you guys doing? If you guys are watching something you shouldn't be watching, hide the browser. Now, this guy, you see this guy right here? Oh. Better hide that window. Now, believe me, my man, I know how that feel is. People suddenly walking in, you're like, no, I wasn't watching anything illegal. I assure you, or not really illegal. I don't think you should be watching stuff that's illegal. But you know what I'm saying, right? Probably stuff that's not really good for the workplace, if you know what I'm talking about. Anyway. Over here, let's see. I believe this is part of the studio, or at least part of the office, I guess, that works on texture details. I don't think there's really too major stuff going on over here, but it's showing us how the textures work, right? Like over here we have the character. What's kind of interesting because he's wearing shorts. He doesn't even have the red underpants. Those are shorts, but he's going to start pulling up the rocks from over here and moving them. So this is just texture work. I believe this is kind of like working on a map for the winter area, obviously. But it's probably like expanded, so it looks like really up close and personal because it's like no camera movement because he's working on the map itself. Once we play the actual game, it won't look like that, right? Because it'll be like, you know, condensed down to what we are normally used to seeing. But I think that's like just working on a map. It's kind of cool as the guy in a motorcycle over there too. Now over here we have, this is kind of like part of the picture they showed a while back that I think I covered about how we were talking about different colored walls and stuff like that. Like, if you see, that looks like green over here, and one of those look kind of like reddish, like a really bright red. So, At some point or another, we might be able to color those walls too to kind of give it different looks. And over there's another bunker back there that they're working on. So this would just be like texture and model work. Again, this is the reason why I'm saying this is really probably too important, but it's kind of also intriguing because it's showing us future models that will be added whenever it get implemented to the game and stuff like that. So I think that the different colored walls might be a bit important because we might be able to color them to give it more of a comfier look, I suppose. Although I think that the look that it has going on now, it works because I'm not really one for like green and red walls. You know, white walls is fine for me. I'm not too lavish and, you know, out there, I guess. Give me some white walls and I'm perfectly okay. So, over here, I believe this will be the radio tower. Now, what's intriguing about this is that I'm not entirely sure if this is like the radio tower that we see across the water area where you need the ATV to get across. Because we see there's a radio tower map over there, right? We could investigate. Now, this looks really big. Obviously, a radio tower, right? But at the same time, think of it this way. We could also apparently build a radio tower. If you go into your recipes, there's a radio tower for us to build. So it's kind of really intriguing. Like, how does that work into the equation? Like, will that be one we make in our base that's really small? And the feed is picked up from this guy, which is across the water area? Like, it's just its own map, essentially. I mean, this whole entire thing over here is really intriguing and curious to me. Because we know it's attached to the multiplayer, but it's just very curious. I'm not entirely sure how the radio tower is going to work out. You guys give me an idea there. Do you think it'll be like the radio tower we build? Or is it just the one across the map? Let's see. So over here, what are we working on? Got a loading screen over there. I see some loading happening. Now, this is kind of intriguing. This will be like more model work, like animations. And what's cool about this one, pay attention to this one right here. Once he hits it, you see what's happening right there? He's wrapping his arm up. Here's my theory, and it's it's a game theory. No. This is my theory, and it's one that you guys might not like. You know the days of us basically fighting zombies and just basically spamming bandages and heals and stuff like that? I think no more eventually. I think that eventually we're going to actually have to stop, have a bit of a delay to wrap ourselves up with bandages. That's all I'm thinking. Over here we have apparently Falcon and a Friday night. No, I'm kidding around. It's just the NPC that's drunk. But you know what? I've seen myself, or at least I know for a fact I probably have walked that way a couple of times in my life. As a matter of fact, quite a few times in my life. But anyway, going back to the animation thing. You saw how he was wrapping himself up. I want to say that they're going to be adding a way for us, if we have to use bandages, we're going to have to stop and wrap ourselves up. So you can no longer fight and just spam heals over and over and be safe. Is it 100% fact again? No, just my theory. But I have a feeling if they're showing the animation that he's wrapping something up, it might be pertinent to the idea that you won't be able to spam heals non-stop now. That's just my idea. And if they do that, I think that's actually kind of cool for PvP. Probably for PvE, maybe not too cool there, but for PvP it would make sense because if you want to fight somebody and they're just spamming heals over and over, it'll come down to who has more heals, who wins that fight, right? But if it's like, you know, you actually have to use heals at proper times, it'll make it more intriguing. Now over here, let me pause momentarily for this one. This is really curious to me because I want to say this has something to do with the chopper right here. Let me slow it down if I can. Over here we have military outfits. This is the ATV right here, the one that you build and you put down on the floor. This might be bauxite. This one right here was the ATV transmission. So the fact that they're showing the ATV transmission along with the ATV, I think it's a good idea that, hey, you know what? ATV transmission is coming up pretty soon. Now the problem with the ATV is the absurd amount of engines needed for the ATV. The ATV requires a ton of engine parts. I think it requires like 200 or something. I'm like at 20 or something like that, so I got a long ways to go. So I hope they either increase the amount of engine parts or they decrease the amount required, because otherwise that ATV is going to take a while. Now this is actually kind of cool too, because we're seeing a dock now. We see a boat and we see another bit of a dock, right? I want to say that this will be different ways for us to get to Bunker Charlie or across the water where the quote-unquote ATV is needed. And I say that because I think Kefir knows that if they keep the ATV recipe with the transmission and the 200 engine parts, a lot of people will not be able to make that anytime soon. Let's be honest here, because the engine parts are really rare. So they either have to increase the amount of, oh, please don't do this right now. Don't you dare go into the meme mode, Kefir. Let's skip forward here, guys. Get out of there. So I believe they're going to give us different ways for us to make it across the water, whether it's the boat whether it's the ATV, and eventually down the line the chopper. The chopper's needed for Bunker Charlie, if I'm right. But we don't have to worry about the chopper. It'll be a while before that's even added. I mean, we don't have the ATV just yet. So I believe that's what that means, but I think the boat is going to be another way for us to get there. Now, this one over here is pretty intriguing because you see this is him fishing. This has nothing to do now with us traveling elsewhere. This is just the character fishing, which is pretty cool. And we do have a fishing rod in the recipes, which you never really paid much attention to. So this might be a different way for us to get some food in case we want to farm or just go out there and hunt. I like the idea of having it available, and I hope that there's more of a focus placed on it, because right now, I don't ever feel the need that I'm ever lacking food. Like, I always have carrots growing. Whenever I go out to farm for, like, stones and stuff like that, I get a ton of, like, skins and meat from wolves and deer. So I don't ever really need the need for food. So I hope they give you an added incentive for fishing, because otherwise, I don't think there's really much of a point for it now. Now, this is the last part that we're watching in the video here, and this is the really important part. This is obviously a winter map. Now, what's cool about this here, let me slow it down one more time if we can. 0.25, that'll do. You see that red icon over here? I believe that's Frostbite. And the reason why I'm saying that is because if you can see him walking, you'll see a bunch of ones popping up here and there. That's the Frostbite effect, kind of like poison essentially, right? Or whenever you're starving, you know how you start losing HP. The character here is not wearing any shirt, which is really silly. I think he's got a hat on and maybe some pants, but no shirt. This is probably indicating to us that if we don't go to the winter map with proper equipment, we're going to be freezing, we're going to get frostbite, we will be indeed dying. So now the question is, can we use the regular clothes that we have now? Or are we going to have to craft specific clothes for winter, the ones that we've seen them show off in the concept art? Will we need those, or can we use our regular clothes? Will our regular clothes be enough to stave off the winter or the frostbite effects? My opinion is the winter clothes that they're going to be adding will have less defensive capabilities than our regular equipment. So the trade-off is going to be, do you go to the winter map with the new clothes that keeps you warm, but less defense, or do you take your clothes which has more defense, but there's a chance of frostbite? Again, not 100% sure that's going to be happening, but I think it'll be a really good trade-off. Do you prefer defenses, or do you want to take frostbite damage over time? I think it's a really good way to kind of like give you an incentive to make one or the other one, right? And that's what it is, guys. So I'm going to wrap it up here for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. This video is available on their Facebook page in case you want to see it again without my commentary. And more importantly, anything I said today is not 100% fact. This is all just analysis and theories on my part. If you agree with them, let me know about it. If you disagree with it, let me also know about it. And if you have your own opinions of what you saw here today, share them. I would love to read what you have to think about this and stuff like that. So without further ado, I hope you enjoyed it. Stick around for the next video whenever it shows up. I'm not sure, it'll probably be the update coverage, or I might do another video in between, we'll see. Right now, I'm just kind of waiting for updates, to be honest with you. I could just show you farming videos over and over, but it's kind of boring. I think it's kind of boring. It's just showing you the same thing over and over. So that's the reason why I don't pump out videos daily, because it just feels like I'm doing it for views when it's not really about that. You know, when there's something for me to talk about and show off, I'll make a video. That's kind of how I play things out. But I hope you enjoyed this one. I will catch you next time.